Well, we've been in India for the past few years on a joint venture with the KK Modi Group. The activity was led in India by Shiru Modi. And what we're planning to do is actually expand in India. Expand both locations as well as programs. We like to say that our expansion in India is a way to bring American education to India, but do it in a way that we actually have an Indian soul. The key is to bring the culture of India into the general education courses so that we can take the strengths of the Indian culture and put it into a program that provides the skills that are taught in a classic American education. In 5 years from now, I believe we'll have multiple locations in India. We'll expand our programs based on the employment base. So we'll be adding additional programs in India, perhaps in human resource management, supply chain management, engineering, areas that employers need in order to have more effective performance on their key missions. So in order to develop those programs, we will be working with advisory boards made up of employers to determine what competencies they need in their employees, and we will craft programs to meet those needs. In most cases, we'll take the core programs we teach in the U.S., modify them to the specific requirements of India. Well, I think that America has developed a very good educational system based on methods that were developed by Socrates, where you ask questions, you let students develop the actual insight into the material as they learn on their own, as they teach themselves the logic of the content. So we've developed that kind of teaching method in America. But what India has, I believe that America does not have, is this sense of inner peace. There's kind of a sense of humanity in India that we would like to capture. And we'd like to take the hard technology of the U.S. and meld it with sort of the inner soul of what you experience here in India. And we do that through the general education courses where we might focus on happiness, on positive psychology. And I believe that individuals that focus in these areas, in addition to having a very useful career, will actually have a happy life. Education comes from the Latin root word educare. Educare means to draw out, not to stuff in. And so the lecture, as a way to just, viewing the students as vessels to be filled up with knowledge, is really incorrect. What students figure out on their own, they remember for a lifetime. What they memorize, they actually remember for a few months. So I like to say the true value of education is what you know after you've forgotten everything that you have memorized. In other words, how did the educational process change the way you think? Now, in order to help students approach this method of thinking, we've embedded in the curriculum the elements of critical thinking. And so by asking questions, we help the students explore the different elements of the knowledge that they're trying to acquire and figure out the relationships of different elements within their area. And as they go through this thought process of critical thinking, they begin to understand sort of the logic of the content, and they understand how to solve problems. So that when they get out in the job force and they encounter something that they've never seen before, they don't have to go back to a book. They simply think about it in a very logical way, and so they can draw a logical conclusion. Now, this method of teaching was really developed by Socrates over 2,500 years ago, and he taught the children in Athens by asking questions. And so a good teacher can ask questions, and the students can figure out what is going on. And if a good teacher asks the right questions, he'll inspire the students to want to learn. And so once their engines are turned on and they're inspired to learn, they'll continue to learn. So our program is really focused on an interactive classroom, a classroom where we challenge the students with projects, where they figure things out on their own, and the teacher is a coach, not a lecturer. And so we've really taken to heart this idea of educare, to draw out. And that is, I think, a distinctive element of American education. And so we're taking that particular approach drawing out, combining it with the ethos of India to get the best of both worlds.